Roland Sladek is spokesperson for Huawei EAMA, and he joins us to talk about that company as an emerging brand. Good morning to you, Roland, joining us from our Cape Town studio. Well, it's a brand that I haven't quite got in my consciousness because I pronounced it wrongly before I joined you there. I said Huawei, and it's Huawei, and I've heard that pretty much, but as I say, it's not burnt into my consciousness yet. But it is certainly a growing brand, and perhaps you can give us the context of where this brand comes from and what its foothold at the moment is and where it's going.
Sure. Well, first of all, I'm happy to help you for the pronunciation, so it's pronounced Huawei. You might have not have heard of Huawei or even have difficulties pronouncing it, but the matter of fact is Huawei serves 1/3 of humanity in building networks, cloud computing solutions, but also, as you mentioned, as an emerging brand, mobile phones. And as such, is a quite successful brand, smartphone brand, because not so long ago, a couple of weeks ago, Huawei was the first Chinese company to enter the top 100 inter-brand list. Very, very selective brands, the Huawei is also very, very important. In Africa, it's one of the fastest growing smartphone brands. Last statistics I've seen, Huawei is the #2 top smartphone brand in Africa.
Now, Roland, it's a crowded market. There are lots of smartphones. Not only is it a crowded market in terms of brands, it's crowded in the number of variations on the technology, on new models, companies having to get ahead of the pack to try and get the attention of the market. So a relative newcomer to Africa, what kind of things are you doing to make this happen?
Well, first of all, Huawei has been in Africa for quite some time, actually. We have been in Africa for more than 15 years, so one of the longest standing sort of Chinese companies in Africa. To date, we have more than 7,000 employees in Africa, so quite long commitment and long-standing investment in Africa. In terms of brand, you're right, actually. So Huawei does not try to position itself on the lower end, but really clearly on the mid to high end. And what we're doing, we're launching mobile phones, really successful high-end mobile phones, like the one that I have here, for example, which will be launching officially tomorrow, actually, for the South African market. And that's how Huawei tries sort of to make its name, actually, by having good value mobile phones comparable with the best in the world for its African consumers.
Well, they're all going to say that it's good value and high quality. But again, how do you get the attention? And can you give us an idea of what kind of numbers are involved in the business in South Africa? What's the marketing spend? What kind of campaigns are you going to be mounting?
Well, I mean, it's a mixture of several things. I mean, first of all, normal communication, talking to media, like what I'm doing here, but also sponsorship is very important. So I'm here right now in Cape Town, where, for example, we sponsor the Ajax football club. A sponsorship which increased our brand awareness in Cape Town, but also sort of in the region here. In terms of numbers, I can give you two numbers. For example, Huawei has been selling or aims to sell 1 million smartphones this year in Africa, in South Africa, sorry. And next year we aim to double this figure. So we aim to sell 2 million smartphones in Africa, which makes us one of the most popular brands. I can't remember number 3, number 4, depending on which statistics you're looking at. But clearly sort of an upcoming brand, mid to high end, and that's how we position ourselves.
Roland, what's your background and your route into this business?
My personal background or Huawei's background? Yeah,
your personal background.
So I worked for a semiconductor company, which is basically a company doing all the inside of the mobile phone. The chipsets, the modems, the connectivity of a mobile phone. Because, I mean, the design is very, very important, but the inside of a mobile phone is actually more important because that's really the added value that you're providing to consumers. And the interesting part of Huawei is actually Huawei does actually both. The outside, the design, but also the inside, the chipsets. And that's quite unique. I mean, nobody else is actually able to do that. Apple is trying to do this to a certain extent, Samsung as well, but that's it, basically. There are only these 3 brands who can actually do this. And that gives us a cutting edge in terms of being faster to market, understanding consumers' changes faster than the competitors, actually integrate them to new solutions and basically having new phone out every 6 months.
Well, thanks to Roland Sladek. He's the spokesperson for Huawei EAMA.